right as the fucking buzzer's going. Oh, pardon me. Hey guys, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery. This is Hump Day Hangouts for January 17th, 2018. I believe this is episode 167. Yes, it is 167. Sorry, we were in the middle of testing something like literally right as we were going live. Never stop testing, right? So we've got almost everybody here. Adam's not here today, so I'm going to go right on down the line as I see it. Chris, how you doing, buddy? No audio from Chris. I know he's traveling, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chris is here in spirit. We got Hernan with us too. What's up, Hernan?
What's up, guys? I'm really excited to be here. Good stuff coming up, so I'm really glad that we're here.
Hey, your Christmas tree's down. It
is. I mean, it's gone. Yeah. It's been gone for, I don't know, 10 days or something.
It's gone, man. It's
yeah.
It's kind
of put that up,
disheartening, kind of depressing.
Yeah. I could put that up. I have another plant though over there.
Awesome.
Sorry, man. I was only at a mic issue here. Like, I'm sitting in a snowstorm here in Austria, like crazy, but everything else is good.
Nice. Well, there's Chris. What's up, man? All right, Marco. What's up, buddy?
What's up, dude?
How are you?
Testing. Always testing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. And then we got Roman on with us today, which is awesome, from Serpspace, and we've got some cool announcements that he's going to be talking about as well. So what's up, Roman?
Hey, I'm good.
Good. Okay. Well, I know Hernan's got a couple of announcements to go through. I want to mention real quick, because I had this already. We did a webinar with Jeffrey Smith again on Monday, which was for the SEO Bootcamp guys. If you guys have been following us at all for the last 2 months or so, you know that we've talked about this course before. It's hands down the best on-page SEO course I've ever seen, and I mean that. It's fabulous, and Jeffrey Smith just put an enormous amount of work into it. It's really good, and so we're not even going to try to compete with that. We just said, Jeffrey, we just want to promote yours. So we had another webinar with him. It was our third one, actually. The first one went horribly wrong. The second one did better, but this third one was much better. So if you guys hadn't had a chance to watch it, it was like almost like an hour and 40 minutes long. It was very good, very informative. I mean, yes, there's an offer at the end, guys, for SEO Bootcamp, but it's at half price right now, or at least through our link it is. And it's totally worth it, number one. But even if you don't end up purchasing it, you can learn a lot just by going through the webinar. And I know that's kind of cliche. You hear that shit all the time, but you'll see how in depth he goes with like keyword research, as well as what entities are and how to, you know, how to basically like semantic relationships between the entities and things like it's incredible. I even learned a lot just from the presentation alone. So I would highly recommend that you guys go check it out. I'm gonna drop the link on the page for the replay. And then with that, Hernan, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Yeah, because apparently I do have some announcements. So yeah, the video lead gen system is coming up next week. I know that Bradley has been working hard with that, and then we have a, you know, like, here's the thing, we have crafted that, and Bradley has been going through his process of getting like really good results with video, with, you know, lead gen using video, right? So we're gonna be releasing that next week. Probably it's gonna go through your, you know, we're gonna probably announce that on the next Hump Day Hangout, but stay tuned to your emails, because that's gonna be released over there. And then we have Roman here, and I wanted to ask you, Roman, a little bit about the SEO RAM packages that you guys have been cooking on Serpspace over there. So can you give us a little bit about the rundown? What, you know, what would be the ideal scenario to use them and how to use them, pretty much?
And while you're doing that, excuse me, pardon me, Roman, but while you're doing that, if you want, do you want to pull up the screen to that page and just kind of like showcase that page while you're going through it?
Sure.
Can you do that, or do you want me to pull it up?
Oh yeah, if you could pull it up, that'd be easier.
Okay, let's see what I can do.
Yeah, basically, we've been working on this for the last few months, trying to get this this pushed out live. But basically, it's a done-for-you solution for SEO packages, and we've got two main kind of packages: one for local and one for national. The big difference between the two is that national is a little bit more of an oomph. You get a lot more links than you would with local, and that's for obvious reasons. A lot of times with national, there's a bit more competition involved. But with our local rank packages, Basically, it's completely done for you. So we have there's a plugin that we have on our back end, and what that does is it integrates with, let's say, your WordPress site or some. If you have a HTML site or another type of site, we can work with those as well. And what it does is it creates the pages on your site, and it does the backlinking automatically. And every month it adds more pages onto your site and generates more additional backlinks that way as well. So over time, its effectiveness grows. And these type of links that it's sending to your site are some of the best ones that you can get anywhere. They come from trusted, validated entities. Seriously, from an SEO standpoint, you can't ask for a higher quality link. You know, these are all real businesses that are essentially linking to you. And it's a beautiful content distribution network that's going on with this.
Yeah, and I'm testing it right now with some sites, guys, and it's super powerful, and we know the kind of like what the infrastructure is behind it, and it's fucking amazing, really. And like you said, these are all established entities, like verified Google My Business type sites that we're getting links from. And it's just amazing. Which those are the best types of links you can get for, especially for local businesses. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it's coming from relevant local businesses, and what more could you ask for?
Yeah. One thing, Roman, I've got a bone to pick. Who the fuck let that be the thumbnail for the video? Come on, guys. That's shitty.
We'll have to get Al.
Come on, man. Can somebody please go update that?
Tony and I were talking about
God that. Almighty. That's not giving me a service at all.
We'll get that fixed up for you.
All right.
I'm used to Wayne doing that shit on Hump Day Hangouts with memes and stuff, but come on, man, this is a sales page.
Apologize about that.
No worries.
Yeah. Anyways, I think the link is on the comments over there, guys. So if you want to go ahead and check them out, they are really, really powerful. We're pretty pumped about this. So go ahead, check them out. You can always open a free account at serpspace.com, and then Bradley just put the link on the questions over there, on the comments on the event. So you should definitely check it out. Yeah, guys, do you have anything else to add before we move on to?
Yeah, the only thing is I wanted to mention is, this is it's a set it and forget it type of service. So it's really easy to set up and just to go with. So if you're somebody that's a local business owner or anything like this is really a great solution for you. If you're selling to local businesses, then this is also a fantastic solution, because it allows you to be able to focus on you bringing in more revenue and not so much on the backside of the fulfillment services. So this makes your life easy.
Right. And we have a lot of people coming to the Hump Day Hangouts, and students of Semantic Mastery in general, that they have their own agency. So I think this is both a time saver and a headache saver, mostly because it's just like, turning around and giving a better service to your own clients. So this works for your own lead gen, if you're doing lead gen, if you're doing pay-per-call, or rather, if you're doing rank and rent, whatever you're trying to do, or if you're selling the service to your clients.
Yep.
Okay, pretty cool. All right, so go ahead, guys, and check it out. Again, you can always open a free account over there at Serpspace, and if you have any questions, you can contact us with any questions that you might have. And the last note that I had over here was to talk a little bit about the charity donations. Marco, you want to take a stab at it? Like, what's the status of that and how we're looking?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can just go to the page. I've posted the link towards the top and see how close we are to the goal where we started, which was 10,000. Guys, if you put us above 10,000 before or on Friday the 26th, I'll take it up to 15,000. If you take us over 15 by $1, I'll take it up to 20. I mean, it's a challenge. Put it over $1. If you see it at 99999, to go ahead and contribute $2 and make Mark spend the rest for the kids. I don't mind. It's a really worthy cause. It's an education initiative. It's the only way out of poverty is giving people access to a quality education with all the tools that they need to be able to compete, right, in school. And so once you have that education, and once you're on that track, you also need the support, right? Community support and other tools to keep you on that track and to keep you from going astray, which is also part of this. So I think it's just a great initiative. Visit the page, watch the video so that you know what it's about. And if you feel like giving, I mean, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and the kids thank you. And if not, that's fine. We're still going to be here, and we're still going to answer your questions for free. So either way, it's cool. We love you.
That's awesome. Pretty cool. Yeah, we're really, really near. And just last but not least, if you're new to Semantic Mastery, welcome. We have more and more people joining us on Hump Hangout pretty much every week. So thank you guys for the support, for the comments, for everything. So we really appreciate you guys, dropping your questions, taking the time to do that. If you're new to Semantic Mastery, welcome. If you have been around with us for a while, thank you for that. And the best place to start is always this, Hump Hangouts. And then the second best place is for you to get the battle plan. It's really inexpensive, and it's an investment on your business. You go to battleplan.semanticmastery.com, and you can get a copy of the battle plan. People are having really, really good results with that. And yeah, that's basically all I got, Bradley. So we can jump right into questions.
All right, sweet. I was pre-reading some of the questions. It makes it a little bit easier for me. So Andy, tease up. Oh, yeah. First of all, I say this at the beginning of every webinar now, guys. Go to bradleybenner.com and subscribe to my mindset emails every day. I'm actually not writing every day right now. I started, it was the second week in January, I started coaching CrossFit classes every day now in the mornings. And so the hour that I was spending writing an email every day is now being devoted to CrossFit training or coaching. So I'm not writing every day. I'm trying to squeeze in emails as I can, as time, as I can find time. So I'm trying to get at least 2 or 3 emails done per week. It is still a priority, guys, but there's only so many hours in the day. And this is, the CrossFit thing's a new business for me, and I love it. It's a lot of fun, and it's also part of what we're doing in Mastermind for the 2018 education track. So, but that said, go sign up to bradleybenner.com or go there and subscribe to the email list, because I've been sending out a lot of emails, and it's just stuff that I talk about on a daily basis about, mindset stuff and success habits and goal setting and that kind of things. And I know that would help pretty much everybody that attends these Hump Day Hangouts. Okay, so go check it out. That said, Andy, he's up first. He says, "Hey, baby and team, I'm currently using a theme that has this related post feature at the bottom of the page. Sometimes it is pulling posts from other silos. Is this related post feature will make the silo less effective since it's pulling posts from another silo?" Yes, Andy, it will. Most of the time, those types of related posts, like plugins, or I don't know about the themes themselves, but a lot of times those types of plugins will allow you to set categories. So to where, in other words, it will only show related posts from the same category. And that's how you would do it, right? Because then it would prevent it from showing posts from other silos, right? Because that's all a silo is a category. So, I would check the settings. I assume there's some sort of way to customize that. If there's not, then I would disable that feature entirely and go with a plugin or do it manually, So, but yes, it will absolutely be the theme. Somebody going to comment on that?
Yeah, I think that Jeffrey Smith's and it comes with the unpaid version of the plugin, the deep link juggernaut would be a better investment, so that you could link throughout the silo rather than delving outside the silo and kind of you're not sure whether it fits the silo or not, because you can keep your links within the silo.
Yep, totally agree. Also, I am planning to start a new niche site, but I am not sure if the new site will take off. Do you think it will be wise to set up the site in an existing hosting and only move it to new hosting after verifying that the site shows potential for growth? The reason I'm thinking this is to save money. What is your advice? Well, I mean, that's kind of a yes, I would say. Like, don't go set up a new hosting account for one site. If test it first. You can always move it to another host. If money's an issue, I mean, your hosting's relatively inexpensive, but you want to get good hosting, right? That's the key. And we talked about this. Well, I guess it was the last mastermind when, or maybe it was two times ago, but we had Roman on and he was talking about PBN stuff and we were talking about hosting, and we've always said that you should have good hosting. So if you're going to be putting the site on an existing hosting account that's decent hosting for testing purposes, or to, you know, validate or verify whether it's a good project to pursue, that's fine, because you don't have anything to worry about. I wouldn't put it on some real crappy like HostGator account or something like that, because it may end up, a lot of the times it's hard to rank sites on those accounts, guys, because it's just a shitty, dirty IP. So my point is, if you got a decent hosting account already, then I'd just go ahead and throw it on there for now. And then once it, you know, if you start to get a lot of traffic and that kind of stuff, yeah, move it to its own hosting account, or better yet, like a VPS or something. So any comments on that, guys?
Agreed.
Todd says, on my website, ibuyhomes.com. I would not recommend, Todd, for future reference, that you post your URLs here, because there are trolls online. Believe it or not, there's even trolls in our audience. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, on to the question. I have an individual city pages where I try and buy homes on WordPress. Okay, on WordPress. Can I, or should I, have an individual blog for each page that is related to that city? Or should I just produce content related to that city and post it on the homepage? Well, I'm not sure what you mean. Like, if you've got a blog roll on the homepage, in other words, if every time you post a blog post, it's automatically added to the homepage, right, and it knocks the oldest post off, then, I mean, that's not a big deal, right? That it's going to be dynamically updated every time you publish a new blog anyways. But if you're talking about like individual city I'm assuming you mean like posts. I'm not really following the question. I know in my opinion, at least for like lead gen for like contractors and stuff, it's better for each location to have its own page, right? Or post. It really doesn't matter, but it's better to target, because then you can optimize specifically for that location. What causes problems is when you try to optimize for two location names in the same page or post. Then it can create what they call ambiguity, right? Ambiguity. That's a difficult word to say. But you need to disambiguate the content by making it more specific, or adding other content that will reinforce what the theme is of that particular piece of content, right? So in this case, it's just a lot easier to create individual pages or posts for each location so that you can target specifically one location. Now you can have like, here's an example, Todd, and I'm sure this is probably what you're referring to, but like, I think Fairfax County, Virginia has like 24 individual towns and cities, you know, census designated areas, incorporated cities, you know, all that kind of stuff. There's basically 24 localities within the county. So each locality could have its own post or page on the site where it's optimized for I buy houses, Vienna, VA, I buy houses, you know, whatever, Oakland, VA, you know, all these different cities within Fairfax, right? Fairfax County. And then you could have a county page that lists every one of the individual locations and has maybe a brief snippet, a blurb, like a sentence or two or three about each location that then links out to that location page or post. If that makes sense, because then it's kind of a hierarchy, right? You could have like, in this example, Fairfax County would be a page that then links out to all the individual locations. Like I just mentioned, like Vienna and Tyson's Corner and, you know, all these different locations in Fairfax County. And that way you're creating basically a location-based silo. It makes a lot of sense that way. If you want to organize your content that way, it seems, at least with the lead gen stuff I don't do a lot of stuff in real estate, but for like contractor leads, that seems to work really, really well. You guys have any comments on that?
No, I think you nailed it, Bradley. Because I would do I would do pretty much what you were suggesting. So.
Yeah, and by the way, Todd, you don't need to make them like super long posts. I found if you're going to spend a lot of energy or effort on content, like long form content, I would want it to be on the county page, the longer page, where you're listing everything else. The individual posts, I would do it as posts, right? The individual locations would each be posts, but however you decide to do it, they don't have to be that much content. I mean, you know, literally 300 words could do it. It's just a matter of, because they're obvious. Usually those smaller areas are going to be a lot less competitive anyway, so they don't require as much content. But what you're trying to do is just stack the theme, right? That you're trying to stack the keywords in such a way that it reinforces the overall theme of that silo or category. In this case, in this example's case, Fairfax County, right? And so the actual individual location posts don't need to have that much content on them. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful. Mark's up. He says, Bradley, I need to make the argument that it's better for a company to have all their products on one primary domain with their website like www.myco.com and not have a website like www.myco.com and their products on subdomains like products.myco.com with the two interlinking. Give me all the good reasons why one domain is better. Okay. I don't do e-commerce, and this sure sounds like an e-commerce question mark. This sounds like an e-commerce question, Mr. York. Anyways, I really don't know whether that's true or not. I honestly have no idea. I can tell you from like just an assumption that if you have like the products on subdomains, would those be separate sites? Or would they just be like somehow a product page on a subdomain, even though it's all hosted from the same CMS or website platform or whatever? I don't know. I don't do e-commerce. That's why I'm even asking that question. And so basically, if anybody here has an idea or an answer for this, that's great. Otherwise, Mark, I'm going to have to pass because I honestly don't know what to tell you.
Right. Well, what I'm thinking is that, I mean, if you have their website, like here's the thing, usually when you're doing e-commerce, you want to have an e-commerce solution, right? And by e-commerce solution, I mean something like Shopify or not Shopify or WooCommerce, something like that, right? So the templates that are optimized for a institutional website might not be as optimized for an e-commerce, right? So that's the only reason where I would definitely go ahead with a subdomain with a completely different template that's optimized for an e-commerce, because on the e-commerce, the action is way, it's on the spot. So people can actually click on the thing, add to cart, pay, and that's it. Usually when you're trying to mesh the two under the same template, even further if you're doing WordPress, usually it doesn't end up too well. You know what I mean? Because the institutional or corporate templates or themes are not optimized for e-commerce for the most part, because they have a lot of stuff going on. When you have an e-commerce store, you want to have the least amount of steps between the person landing until they check out. You know what I'm saying? So the goals of the websites are completely different. So one, you want to showcase your services or whatever, and on the other hand, you want to showcase your products and you want them to purchase. That's why I would think that having a subdomain with a different theme would be a better idea. And then you can rank the products. You can try and rank the products, and then how the thing goes with subdomains being more protective, or they're protecting the main domain.
Yeah.
If I can add real quick. If it's e-commerce, look at what Amazon does. I mean, because they have a huge number of subdomains. For example, they have music, they have KDP, which is the Kindle Direct Publishing. They have the video, they have S3. Everything they do on a subdomain, and they do that because they know that the subdomains that they add will power up the root domain and then shoot back power into the subdomain, so they start feeding off each other. Now the problem is that when you're a one-man gang, a one-man show, is that you have to maintain, when you get to 10, 15, 20 subdomains on the same website, those have to be maintained. And so it's kind of how much work are you going to put into it, and what the return is going to be for the time that you've invested.
Yeah, and I think he's trying to make the argument that to put them all on one, which would make sense for efficiencies and ease of management. So I get what you're saying, Mark, and I may have misunderstood the question when I read it the first time, because I think what you're saying is having one subdomain where all the products are listed, and then having the corporate site on the root is what you're saying. I think if I'm interpreting the question correctly, then yes, then Hernan's answer makes a lot of sense, and I get that, because I would totally agree that if you have like if it's e-commerce, that I would and they have their corporate template on the root domain, that you'd want to have an e-commerce type solution on a subdomain, because again, the functionality wouldn't be present in the actual root domain type framework, right? So if that makes sense. However, if it's like, just for example, if it were like a plumber, right? And so there's a corporate domain, right, saying like, hey, we're a plumber in this area, give us a call, blah, blah, blah. And then here's all our services on a service subdomain. To me, that wouldn't make any sense. That's not e-commerce though, right? That's just listing their services and, hey, call us and we'll come give you an estimate. So that would be all on one root domain. But as far as like, if it is e-commerce, which is how I'm interpreting the question, it would make sense to have it on a separate subdomain, because then you could have an e-commerce platform on the subdomain where the company's website would sit on the root. Any other comments on that, guys?
No, I agree with what. Yeah, no, I agree with what you just say. Like it's all about what the website is designed to do, right? So it all comes down to that.
James Rich, he says, when providing content services for clients, whose name do you publish under? It depends, James. Do you ask your clients for their preference or decide for them? Well, no, I always ask the clients. I don't just decide stuff for clients usually. I mean, I do, but not when it's something public facing, like publishing posts to their blog. Usually my curators end up, they just use their own profile, because, you know, probably 90% of all the posts that we publish are curated posts. And so I just have curators doing that stuff, and they have their own profile. So they get an account added, or, you know, I add them as either an editor or sometimes an administrator or whatever, an admin to the actual site, publisher, whatever you call it. There's different options for user levels in WordPress. Typically I just select it as editor for most of my curators, and I just create the account for them through the WordPress dashboard, and it just sends them, you know, the login details via email. But they have, like, for example, all my curators, I have them go set up their profile on Gravatar, which Gravatar integrates with WordPress, right? So as soon as I send them their login details using their email that's been registered through Gravatar with their profile photo, then once they get their login details for the WordPress site, then when they log in, their profile photo is already going to be attached, and then they can go to the users section and edit their profile to include their you know, bio and links to their social media properties and stuff like that. Or and in a lot of cases, we have like you know, author box plugins on the WordPress sites, because a lot of newer themes do have like the author credit stuff, but some of the older themes, which I still have a lot of sites in use that are on older themes that didn't have like nice author box settings native to the themes. So we would add like author box plugins, like Starbox is, I think, one of them that we use a lot. So in which case, like I said, they just go in and edit their profile data once they get access to the WordPress site to make sure that everything looks good. Now, I do have a couple clients, though, that prefer that it's their name listed as the author of the post, even though it's my curators producing the content, which is fine. If that's what they want, we do it that way. We just set up an account, a user account for the client, basically, as an author or an editor or whatever. And then we have the, you know, my VAs, my curators actually log in under their account, if that makes sense, and post that way, right? And also, I believe as an editor, they can log in even as their own, like as an admin, I know we can do this, right? We can go in and change the author, like, of a post or whatever, or when we go to create a post, we can select who we want the post to be placed under, or given, you know, who we can choose who we want the author to be from all the available users on the WordPress site. As an admin, you can do that. I don't know about it. I think editors can do that too. But anyways, so again, it's just a matter of logging in, depending on what their privileges are as far as access privileges. They can either update that stuff on their own, or they just log in underneath the client's profile. Okay. What is my process for giving VAs access to each site? Whenever I sell a client on content marketing services, I just get access to WordPress for me, and then I set my curators up with access, just like I mentioned. Just go to users, add new user, and then put in their profile, you know, their email address. Again, recommend that your VAs have their own Gravatar. If they have like a primary email account that has a bunch of stuff that's not related to what you want their profile image to be for as a writer for that blog, have them create a new Google account, right? A new Gmail account that is and a profile that is basically tailored to what you want them to be, right? To give the image that you want them to present, and then use that Gmail as the email account that you set up their WordPress access with, right? Because then they can set up a new Gravatar account under the new email address that has all the data that you want, and it would be more specific to the, you know, the type of authors, and I'm using air quotes, that you want writing on each one of your blogs. That's certainly a possibility too. Okay. It's a good question though, James. Yanan says, hey team, or hey guys, excuse me, tell me something. Are you still using video email to do outreach and prospect? Well, as a matter of fact, we are. In fact, that's what the video lead gen system product will be that we're launching next week or in 2 weeks or whatever it is. It's completely about that because it is still very, very effective. And we have a lot of people actually using that now since we've taught about it in Mastermind as well as in some other some other places. And we've got some really good feedback from it. So video lead gen system coming out. When is it, Hernan? Next week or the following week?
Next week, actually.
Next week.
Yeah, so stay tuned, guys, because we're going to drop some emails, and there's probably going to be some sort of coupon or launch price, etc. That's going to last, you know, probably 24 hours, if not less, so stay tuned.
Yep, and we're not doing some big launch on this stuff, guys. It's not going to be something you're going to get a shit ton of emails from 100 different IM marketers and stuff like that. It's not going to happen. This is an internal launch only. We are just creating this product and launching it to people on our subscriber list. That's it. So, like, it's not going to be some big stupid launch. It's a great freaking product. It works really, really well, the process. And here's something that I hadn't even mentioned yet. Oh, damn. You guys got to remind me. I got to get a VSL done that page and all that. I'm going to be throwing a bonus webinar into that product that we're going to do live within probably 2 weeks of the product being launched, where I'm going to show how to find prospects to use the video email method for with YouTube. And it's a very, very easy process. And it's like shooting fish in a barrel, so to speak. It's so easy to find good clients, good prospects, good candidates this way. And so that's something I'm going to be covering in a update, or excuse me, a bonus webinar. All right. What kind of results do you typically see? Well, when I was doing a lot of that, I'm doing more the shotgun approach now than the rifle approach because it's a time thing. Plus the shotgun approach can be scaled more easily than the rifle approach can. And the video email system, or the video lead gen system, is basically a rifle approach. It's incredibly effective, but it's like I said, it's a bit time consuming. It's not something you can scale very easily compared to like a shotgun method, right? Which would be like a mass marketing or mass prospecting method, which is what I'm kind of developing now. But for this method in particular, when I was doing that a lot to grow my own agency, for every 10 emails I sent, I would get 3 or 4. So the average was 35%, 3 or 4 responses from every 10 emails. And it was like clockwork. And out of every 3 or 4 responses that I got, I would close 1 or 2 of them. And I mean, guys, it was like, but here was the problem. Here's where I failed with that method. It was incredibly successful for me landing clients, but I always would go into the prospecting mode, and I would spend basically 3 or 4 days locating prospects, prospects that I would want to contact, creating the actual videos, then sending out the email, like creating the emails and sending them out, because they're all personalized emails. They're all personalized videos. This is why I said it can be time consuming. And I would spend 2 or 3 days setting it up. Then I would do send out 10 emails or whatever, 10 or 15, whatever it was. Then I would process the results, which would be like any responses. I'd get the communication going, start the dialogue between the prospects that replied and that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't do any more prospecting. Then I would land 1 or 2 of those clients or those prospects. They'd turn them into clients. I'd sell them, right? I'd close them. And then I'd work on fulfilling their work with no additional prospecting. And then once I got them to a point where it was more like autopilot and it could be more hands-off for me, then I would turn the prospecting back on, and I'd go back through that process all over again. And it was never consistent. And so what I talked about in the training is how to make it a consistent process that gets repeated and done every single week. So that, like, for example, if you send out 10, if you made it part of your standard operating procedure for your business to send out 10 video emails per week, and you outsourced 90% of it, which I show you in the training exactly how to do that, then you know it'll get done. And if you have 10 going out every week, and let's say on the low end, you get 3 responses a week, and out of those 3, you can only close 1 of them because you suck at sales. I'm not speaking to you directly, Ian, and I'm saying just just on a conservative estimate, let's just say, hypothetically, you send out 10 a week, you get 3 responses. Out of the 3, you close 1. But you do that consistently, week in and week out. You have a VA doing most of the work for you, and all you have to do is record the actual audit videos. The audit videos is what I'm calling them. Right? You record those so that it's in your voice. It's going to be you making the contact with the prospect. So it's kind of required that you do that, but you could do it to where, like, if you're just doing 10 audit videos and they're less than 10 minutes each, you could, in 2.5 or 3 hours, you could have all of the videos done every single week and then have a VA do all the rest of the work. Send them out, locate prospects, collect contact info, send the templates out, the emails out, all that kind of stuff. And then all you have to do is process the leads. It would become part of your normal day-to-day operations, and you would always have a pipeline full of leads. And highly qualified leads, guys. These aren't like the mass prospecting stuff that I'm doing right now, where a lead is somebody that is just aware of who we are now because they've interacted with us online in some way, shape, or form. At some level, they interacted or engaged with one of my marketing messages, whether it's an email, an ad, or whatever. But that's not a very qualified lead yet. That's just somebody that has expressed some sort of interest. With this method, it is a highly qualified lead when they reply. Okay, because they know who you are, they feel like they've met you, and blah, blah, blah. So I didn't want to spend a lot of time on that, guys, but the reason why I did is because the video lead gen system that we're launching next week is incredibly powerful for those of you that are trying to get your agencies off the ground, or your business is period off the ground, and you want to provide local clients consulting services or lead gen services, and you're looking for service providers. This is an outstanding way to do it. It's non-confrontational. It's easy. It's not intimidating like making cold calls are. And it just works really, really well. Any comments on that, guys, before I move on? Does anybody else here have any experience with the video emails for prospecting other than me?
You're the man when it comes to that. I've never done this. That's not the way I've done my marketing.
Okay, I know Adam's used it quite a bit. I didn't know if anybody else here had. So, all right, good question though, Yana. Next question is quick this house. I know I've heard your name a bunch of times, but I never remember. That SEO Bootcamp is comprehensive. I don't want to learn all that stuff. Well, plus one that I know it's a bit intimidating, but it is awesome. He says, you suggested hiring a VA to learn and implement. How would you find a VA who would want to learn all that stuff, and how would you keep them working for you? Okay. Well, first of all, if you use an outsourcer hiring funnel, like what we teach in Outsource Kingpin, exactly how to set up an outsourcer hiring funnel, you eliminate all the people that wouldn't be interested in doing all that learning all that kind of stuff anyways, right? Like literally, that's why we developed that system. And I learned that from somebody else. We just custom tailored it for our own purposes. But the hiring funnel system works so well that you eliminate all the tire kickers and all the lazy people and all that kind of shit. It makes it so much easier to find good quality virtual assistant candidates that are willing to put in work and also can follow, beyond a shadow of a doubt that they know how to follow instructions. That's what the outsourcer hiring funnel does, right? And so if you implement that right off the bat, then the people that make it all the way through the funnel process, the hiring funnel, are going to be the top quality candidates that then you interview. And again, all this is taught in Outsource Kingpin, but then you set up interviews. I typically just do Skype text chat, not phone or video interviews, because most of our VAs are in like Philippines or India or whatever. So I really don't care to talk to them. And I don't mean that to sound like I'm being a prick. I mean, like, I just want to know that they can communicate via text chat well. And so the interview process is more about how well they communicate with me, not whether they know how to do something or not, because I'm going to provide them with instructions for what I want them to do and exactly how I want them to do it. So I don't care what they know how to do. All I want to know by the point when they've gotten through the hiring funnel is that they've already proven they can follow instructions. They've already proven that they want the work, right? They're hungry. They're ambitious because they went through this process, where you're going to lose most people through the process because they're going to be like, F this, I'm not doing this crap. I'm not even getting paid yet. But that's the whole point, because by the time they get all the way through the end, you know that you've got highly qualified candidates that are ambitious, they're hungry, they're driven. And then then the interview process is about which out of the remaining candidates are the best, can I communicate the best with, right? Then that's my hire. And it works like crazy. I know Marco's used that. Everyone on our team has used that process multiple times, and it just works like magic. And so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, yeah, I totally agree with you, Bradley. You know, I get the question of, or you find the questions on groups saying, hey, where do I find the best candidates, right? Or where can I find I don't know, help to do XYZ? Because most people are just leaving, or most people are not, whatever, they're not committed. And we always come up with the same answer, like, it's not a matter of where, right? It's a matter of the process that you put them through before they even get to talk to you, or before they even hire them. Yeah, exactly. So before they even get to talk to you, before you even hire them, are you getting them to do some work before they get to talk to you, before you actually hire them? You know, that will weed out 98% of your problems and the tire kicker. So I think that it's more like a question of what kind of treatment they get before they get hired than the place, or there's no magic bullet, right? Because people will have like several profiles anyways, right? So it's not a matter of going to Upwork or going to Fiverr, no, it's a matter of the process that they go through before they get to you.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm glad this question came up, because I was at the same place that he is, or I found myself. I love the information, but there's just so much stuff that I don't want to go through all of those videos like force fed. I actually want to take my time going through it because I enjoy it. So what I ended up doing is I just ran it, our outsourced kingpin funnel, and ended up with 3 people. I interviewed them. I finished the third interview this morning, actually, and that's the person that I'm probably going to hire as a VA to go through the course thoroughly, and then we'll see how we can use that. I mean, but I need that person to go through the training. We'll pay them to train, and then but I have to see if that person is able to go through the training and then apply it the way that it's taught, and then we will decide after that. We pay them for the training, 75% of the salary that they're going to get, but they need to be paid. They need to have that incentive. Okay, I'm not going to get beat at the end of this by not getting paid for doing work. I'm actually going to get paid, and so I think that's a really good incentive. But you know, that's the final step that I think a lot of people miss. That you have to put the people through the test. You can't just hire them, give them work, and they say, "Oh, freak, they didn't work out for whatever reason." No, put them through training, and then see what kind of work they produce, and then you make the final decision on the hire. And if not, then you know, you have other people that you can fall back on, or you put 3 people through the training, and the best person gets the job, like we did with RYS Academy, with the very first VA that we hired for that. But I mean, our shit works. We use it, and it works for us. It should work for you.
Yeah. And that last thing I want to mention about that is, you know, that's the point, is if you say how would you keep them working for you? Just like Marco said, whenever I hire somebody from the funnel process, the hiring funnel process, I always, when I make the job offer, it's in the offer, it's made really very clear that I give them whatever we agreed upon for the proposed salary. I list all that in the welcome letter, the job offer letter, excuse me. But I also let them know that for the first 30 days, they're on 75% their salary pay. Because I pay by salary, guys, too, by the way. We don't pay by the hour. We pay by salary. And that gives us incentive to make sure we always give our VAs enough work, because we're paying them whether they're working or not. Does that make sense? So that makes us make sure that they're constantly working. But I tell them 75% of their, and I call that training pay, because for the first 30 days, they're on probation and they're in training. I do still pay them, but they're totally aware that at the end of 30 days, their salary will go up pending review, you know, obviously if they've performed well, and about, you know, 80% of them do. There's no question, there's no doubt. I'm not going to lie and say that it's 100% effective all the time. It's not. but it is about 80% effective compared to, as you probably already know, and many of you probably have experienced this, trying to outsource shit on your own without a good process. How effective has that been for you? It's probably more like 20% effective, if that. Most people fail miserably when they try to outsource stuff, and it's because of this reason. They don't have a good process to put people through on the front end to qualify the outsourcer. And that's what this does. This pre-qualifies everything. And then once they've been pre-qualified, they're still on probation until we've agreed that they've been that they've done well, they've performed well, and they've met the requirements to go to full pay and stay on as an employee. Okay. So hopefully that was helpful. Steven, hey team, thank you for all your great information you guys provide free every week. You're welcome, Steven. My question is in two parts. First of all, is link building still effective? It is. There is no question it is still effective, and it will be for some time, Steven. How often and in what quantity should we be getting link building for our networks and press releases? Well, that depends on each project, each keyword, really, what it is you're trying to do. It's how often is really going to be determined based upon competition levels, as well as many other variables like the age of the site, that kind of stuff. As far as networks and press releases, though, I can tell you one thing: press releases, you can freaking hammer those. I don't even think there's a velocity issue ever with press releases. I could be wrong, but I never worry about it. Whenever I publish a press release and I want to hit it with links, let me just make this really clear, though, Steven. If you're going to be boosting press releases with links, find out which press releases are going to remain published, because a lot of press releases get purged after sometimes even 30 days. Other press release sites or media sites don't purge. Well, it's anywhere between 30 days and 6 months, but a lot of sites purge. In other words, they basically delete posts after a certain amount of time. And so if you do a ton of link building to a press release that's going to be purged at some point, then you've basically thrown money away. It may give you a temporary boost, but and I know this for 100% fact, because I've been testing press releases and using that as my sole link building method for multiple lead gen projects over the last several months, guys, like going on 7 months now. And I had outstanding results. But then all of a sudden, a lot of the stuff that I had outstanding results for started to drop significantly in Maps rankings. And when I started to investigate, it's because the vast majority of the press releases that I've published over the last 7 months are now gone. They no longer exist. And so my point is, it's either something for press releases that you have to continue doing regularly, which is a great thing, guys, if you're providing these services to clients, because you can sell clients on, we need to publish these regularly, like 1 or 2 press releases per month, whatever you can sell them on, guys. It now becomes a recurring service that you sell, instead of just, hey, every now and then we'll do a press release. No, we should be doing a press release once per month at least for every single client, if that makes sense, right? And that's another service that you can sell. It's great. I love it. But if you're going to be building links to press releases, find out which sites they remain published on, and you choose those as your targets, your target URLs to build links to. As far as your networks, guys, networks, typically I do a link building package right when the network has been built, created, once a few seed posts have been published to it. So usually I try to always season every single network with at least 3 posts. Usually it's 3 to 5 typically for every new network, 3 to 5 posts. And then I'll send it over for link building. And then once I get that back, then it's just a matter of monitoring results. If I see that I need, I'm not, like, I'll usually publish several more posts over the next several weeks, or, I don't publish them, my curators do, but I'll just monitor results. And if I'm not, I usually am seeing movement at some point, but if I'm not seeing as much movement as I would like, then maybe I'll boost the network again. But instead of just always building links to the network, I might do a drive stack instead. You know what I mean? Like, not might, I typically always do a drive stack too. But my point is, it's not always just about the link building, guys. That you can, because remember, once you have a drive stack, then you can boost the drive stack with links, right? So there's just a ton of things that you can do. All I would recommend is that for anything linking directly to your money site, try to keep it clean, something that you have control over. Branded properties, those are that you should make those your priority, stuff that you can brand and then link to your site, and then you can do your link building to those, your tier 1 stuff. Okay, good question though. Any Roman, do you have any recommendations on that? Is Roman still here?
Yeah, he is, but he's I think he's muted.
Oh,
keyboard.
There we go. Sorry about that. In terms of link building still being effective, that question correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So in terms of link building being effective, it's going to be a long while for it not to be. It's just you have to understand what's going on with it and how things are being reduced and reweighted and what's going on with that. So links are here to stay because they're part of the base algorithm. That Google can't just change the core fundamental of how it works overnight. Not without upsetting the entire world and everyone else. So link building is definitely here to stay for a while. In terms of how often and what quantity, there's a lot of variables that come into play, like you were mentioning. One of the main ones that a lot of people don't talk about is traffic and how much traffic is coming in on links. Yeah. If you and this is part of the reason why press releases are so effective, because they receive natural traffic. So, and if stop and think about it too, right? If something goes viral, does it make sense that it would get links and at a higher velocity than something else that isn't viral, right? Absolutely. So, traffic is a major component when it comes to things like that. So, whether you're doing what Marco does with art or Triple T with what Pierce's side, it's that same basic principle.
Awesome. Thank you, Roman. Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, I'm going to try to get through these next 3 up to Pete Hogg in the next 8 minutes. So we're going to try to make this like the lightning round because we're almost out of time. And I'd really like to get to these 3 guys. Okay, Jeff is up. He says, a week or so ago, Marco mentioned the indexing service in Serpspace wasn't working the way it should and that it was being redone. Just checking to see when a new indexing service would be available. Do we have any ETA on that, guys?
Not yet. We're still working on it.
Okay. All right, Jeff, we do not have a ETA for you on that. We apologize. We will certainly announce that when we do. Secondly, dealing with a multi-location bank, 11 locations. If I want to do Maps Powerhouse, can I do a separate one for each location? Absolutely. Absolutely. The URLs are like this. Okay, locations, bank 1, bank 2, etc. Is there an issue with all these coming back to the main site, even though they would be going to separate pages? No, because they're all Google Maps properties. Like that wouldn't hurt anything. And remember, you're just embedding Google Maps. So anybody have a comment on that before I move on?
No, I mean, that's perfect. There are no issues with Google Maps or My Maps, for that matter. Google lets you play with them and embed them. And yes, Jeffrey Smith's stuff is awesome.
It is. It is. I totally agree, though. It's worth hiring a VA to learn how to go do all that stuff, keyword research and everything else. It's very in-depth. All right, Nigel. Good day, gents. Grateful as always for you guys. Jeffrey Smith was impressive. Talk about knowledge and value commensurate with SM pedigree. Exactly. I mean, that's why we brought him on, because he's that good. I picked up the SEO Bootcamp and appreciated the generous discounts and bonuses. Thank you. Can't wait to dig in and report back. Please do, Nigel. Seriously, please do. Report back what you think and also the results that you get from implementing what you learn, because that's the best testimonial you can give. IFTTT personas. When buying double phone verified Gmail accounts, are aged accounts better or brand new accounts recommended? Okay, I would only use aged accounts for YouTube stuff, guys. I mean, let me be real clear. I've only tested using aged accounts on YouTube stuff. I don't care if I'm setting up a brand new like profile or persona that I'm going to build a network for, and I don't care if it's on a brand new Gmail account. It doesn't make any difference to me, because it's likely that YouTube account that's created with that profile, if we create a YouTube account with that profile, isn't going to be the one that I'm using to boost my, as my content, my distribution channel. In other words, it's usually persona networks are just supporting networks that will boost another channel's videos, right? So the channel that I'm going to be publishing videos to, that I want aged. And I have been testing some of those aged accounts, and they do absolutely work better, at least according to my tests, they do. But as far as for just double phone verified accounts for setting up persona accounts, no, don't spend the extra money on aged accounts. At least I haven't tested that. I don't see the need to do that. They may work better, but I just don't know how. If you're not using, I mean, personally, I don't really see how it would benefit at all, unless you were using one of those Google properties as your distribution engine, in which case then an aged account makes sense. Okay. Best practice. Do you recommend building persona details yourself for IFTT setups, or let VAs do everything when they create? I let the VAs do everything because I don't want to do the damn work. That's why I pay the VAs. Like, right? I mean, that's what we do in Serpspace. If you provide us with the details, we can provide you with, you know, the persona data and all that. You just got to give us like the theme, like tags, interest, stuff like that, and we can produce the profile around that. Okay. You can create your own manual checklist. That might be something we could do at some point, which is create a manual checklist. That's not a bad idea. That's a pretty good idea. As far as I know, when we sell the done for you networks or SERPs and RYS stuff, they don't come with a checklist, right, guys?
No, they don't come with a checklist right now. It could be done, but since it's done up to our standards and specs and directly from the training that's available in RYS Reloaded, we don't feel that it's necessary for that manual checklist, because not only does the VA, whoever gets the order, do it, Jessen will go over it once it's done and perform that checklist that he's talking about. There is a human that actually goes through it and makes sure that it's done up to the standards that are expected. Now, we do get some clunkers, guys. We're not perfect. We're all human. We have bad days. When that happens, all you have to do is contact us, and we'll go in there and manually fix whatever it was that might have gone wrong, or was omitted, or wasn't done correctly. So we do back up everything that we sell and that we say. So I mean, you can have that comfort that when you order, it's going to be done according to the training, and then it's going to be checked before it's delivered to you.
Make a note of it, though, that's not a bad idea, maybe, to produce a checklist for both networks and drive stacks.
Yeah, Roman.
Just to give with delivery.
Yeah, that would be on Serpspace.
Yep. That could be a really good, you know, just a value-added thing that would make it more useful for people. Number 3, God, we're almost out of time. I really hope I can get to Pete's too. Are Live Rank Sniper and Crowd Search still working viable tools, strategies for 2018? Well, Live Rank Sniper, yes. I use that tool all the time. I've used it this week already to poke over 200 keywords. I use that tool freaking all the time. It's amazing. I love that tool, Live Rank Sniper. The only thing that I don't like about it is it's slow. In other words, like if you load in, you know, say 25 or 30 keywords that you want to poke, it'll take a couple hours for it to run. Where there's some other tools out there that will poke keywords a hell of a lot faster. But I like the fact that I don't need videos. I don't need a shit ton of channels. You only need one channel to make Live Rank Sniper work. I use it literally every week, almost every single week. I've used it several days this week already. All right. So anyways, Crowd Search. The only thing I would use Crowd Search for right now, which I you know, I still have credits in there. I don't subscribe anymore, but I still have credits. I use them still for referral traffic campaigns, and also for some video sending traffic to video. Although I've just been setting up YouTube ads for sending traffic to video now, and that works so much better because that's real, genuine traffic. You're buying views from Google, essentially, right? And so that works so much better. But I still do use Crowd Search for some sending like referral traffic through like social media links and things like that. But it's only because I've got a store of credits. I probably wouldn't subscribe now. I wouldn't. I wouldn't subscribe now. And I'm not trying to say anything bad, except the fact that, guys, it's not as effective as it used to be. And it's because we think we have an idea as to why. It's probably because the IPs are all coming from pretty much a similar pool of IPs like a lot of those other tools are using. And therein lies the problem. So, but Live Rank Sniper, absolutely. Crowd Search, if you're going to use it in a very specific way, then I could see it as still being viable. We have our own traffic tool in progress, but it's been in progress for months. We don't have an estimated time that that's going to be launched, so I don't want to kind of tease you with that just yet. We've done enough of that. So next time we talk about it, it'll be when it's ready. All right, last question. We got a minute. Pete says, hey, guys, the SEO Bootcamp looks solid. I'm just starting out. If I was in a position to sign up, I would be there. It looks awesome, like awesome training. I totally understand, Pete. Don't worry about it. Follow some of what we teach you. Go make some revenue, and then you can invest in your education, right? I have a YouTube channel for my business brand, which is SEO and marketing. I want to set up a channel for local contractors to rank lead gen videos in the home improvement sector. I've started a YouTube training course, but not finished it yet. Should I use my current YouTube account and add another channel branded towards contractors and the building trade? Or should I set up a completely new account specifically for the contractor lead gen videos? Okay, I recommend that you set up a new Gmail account. We just talked about this a moment ago with the aged accounts. If you're going to be setting up a new channel that you're going to be using as a content distribution engine, right, basically for publishing all of your videos, then I highly recommend that you buy an aged YouTube account. Right? It can be a persona account. It doesn't matter. Just buy an aged YouTube account, because then you have now, and here's why I'm telling you this, guys. I recommend creating the new channel under a new Google account. So basically a new profile, and then adding your main account. So in your case, Pete, your Pete Hogg account as a manager. So a channel manager, so that you can access and still do all the work on that channel through your main Gmail login. But the reason why I always say separate them with different owners, channel owners, is because if in the event you were to ever get slapped for something, you don't want it. It could potentially affect your Gmail account, right? That could then affect all channels associated, as you as the owner of those channels. In other words, any channel that you're the owner of could be potentially affected. Whereas if you're just the manager, if the contractor account YouTube channel, the contractor YouTube channel is owned by another Google account, and you're just the manager, in case you were to get some sort of penalty for something or another, it wouldn't affect the other channel because you're just a manager, not the owner. So that's the reason why I do it that way, guys. It's a way to protect my assets, right? It's a way to cover my ass, and that's why I do it that way. But you can do it either way. If it's gonna, I recommend that you do it that way just because it provides a little level of protection. If you're gonna do that, buy an aged YouTube account, set the YouTube account up underneath that account, and then add yourself as a manager. Or should I set up? I already answered that. What is your advice for the best results? And that is my advice. It's just a way to save yourself from potential catastrophic or potential catastrophe in the event that something were to happen to your account. Okay. Okay, guys, we're a little bit over. Thanks for everybody being here. Sorry about the questions that we didn't get to, guys. We apologize, but that's why first come, first serve. We certainly appreciate everybody being here. Thanks, Roman, for sticking around, and you too as well, Marco.
Yep. No
All
problem.
right, man. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you guys.
Take it easy.
Later.